Hello, everyone. Welcome to On the Move, a show where we share transportation, sales, and marketing success stories. I'm Jennifer Carpus Romaine, Executive Director at the Transportation Marketing and Sales Association, which is a trade nonprofit educating and connecting marketing and sales professionals in transportation and logistics. And today I'm very excited to welcome to the show Katerina Jones, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at Fleet Advantage and has recently been named our 2024 Marketing Mountain Mover. Congratulations and welcome to the show, Katerina.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Really a pleasure.
Of course. It was really exciting to see that you won this top position because you've been named a brand innovator for the past 2 years. And for people unfamiliar with our award program, the Mountain Mover is like that top spot, that number one winner. And then we do recognize kind of the runners up because we love recognizing all of the great work that's going on. But it was really excited to see that because you've been a brand innovator since we started this award 2 years ago. And so seeing that recognition is really, really great. And I'm just curious what that means to you.
I mean, first of all, was such an honor to win the Mountain Mover Award. It's a significant milestone in my career and really a validation of all the hard work and dedication I've put, into my role in marketing at Fleet Advantage. But the Brand Innovator Awards were also great accomplishments, and that kind of pushed me, getting a little bit closer each time, and I continue to get nominated. So, it really motivates me to continue pushing the boundaries of innovation and marketing, especially in transportation and supply chain. And really pushes me to set new goals for myself and my team and the company. But obviously, it's a personal achievement, but it's really a recognition of the whole Fleet Advantage team and especially my marketing team. So, our collective effort is really driving the brand and these initiatives. So all around win.
I love that answer because it is so much about the people who we work with and work for and that group initiative. You were also recently named as a trailblazer in the 2024 Women in Supply Chain Award by Supply and Demand Chain Executive in Food Logistics, which is really cool. And I loved watching how you recognize being a mentor and an advocate for women in the industry. You actively encourage women's participation in leadership and professional development, which is showcased by how you answered the first question like that. It's about my team though. But would love to explain kind of why that's important, why you give back, why you help mentor other people coming up in the industry, other women. Can you talk on that a little bit more?
Sure. So I really just saw myself as a mentor when others kind of just started coming to my office and asking me for questions or for advice and, just wanted me to talk through different situations. And, once I started to see that my, answers are actually helping them, it really kind of, motivated me to do a little bit more of that and reach out to them and let them know that I'm here to help them. And I think that I've had a lot of mentors and not even formal, more of informal and role models that really, kind of put that drive in me to be where I am today. So I think that's really important. So I've been doing it for a little bit, for a while now, and not just women, but other even younger associates. Providing guidance and sharing, experiences to help them navigate their careers. And I think it's really important in the transportation industry because even though we're making leaps and bounds of diversifying who is in the transportation industry, I would say it's still male dominated. And coincidentally, my whole career in marketing has been in male dominated industries. So construction, I worked for Harley Davidson. So it's kind of my forte. And I think there's a lot of, situations and experiences that can be shared to help women grow in those fields. But, working with the team and working with the ladies, how do you go about asking for a promotion? How do you navigate work issues? How to position your ideas to make them sound, acceptable to C-suite or to different people in the organization, helping them with goals. One of my favorite recent examples is one of my team members, and I'll kind of go into this a little bit later, but, one of her goals was to advance in the marketing role. And she didn't come from a marketing background. So, we decided, I think it would be beneficial for her to take some kind of a marketing certificate program. So she can really kind of tie in the knowledge that she's learned hands-on with, more of the formal marketing concept and those types of things. So she is receiving her marketing certification, but now has chosen to actually go more into her degree. And then I heard through the grapevine that another female coworker of hers learned that she was getting her certificate, she's going back to school, and now she's going back to school. So that's like that's just so amazing to, think that I had like a little bit to do with that to push one person, and then the other person, wanted to get their education. So, and my other really kind of passionate thing that I do is nominate women and colleagues for different awards. Really just provides an opportunity to, have them shine in their own spotlight. And it's also really good for Fleet Advantage, obviously, because we have these amazing employees. So, really kind of also pushing them for different speaking engagements. So I spoke with this a couple of years ago, spoke with one of our colleagues, kind of just pushed her more so to talk about this topic that, fleet analytics and transportation for a certain organization. And now she's on, one of the little boards. So it really kind of opened up the opportunities for her. So really passionate about that. And just if I hear that I've helped someone in a little bit of ways, it's really rewarding. So
I agree. I found that I kind of made leaps in my career. Like I went from like digital marketing specialist, and then I was director of marketing. And then from director of marketing, I was the executive director at TMSA. So like huge jumps where it was really easy to have like serious imposter syndrome. And so I found that I love to give back and mentor because I like to do that. But it's twofold because it also helps cure my imposter syndrome because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have value and I have good insights and I have lived a career and there's a reason why I'm here. And so that has really helped me. And so that is something that I'm passionate about too. And I love my favorite like zone to mentor is people like just coming into their career or at the end of college trying to figure it out because you don't have it figured out, and that's okay. Like you don't need to have the next 35 years figured out. You need to have like the next year, maybe. Like
absolutely.
And just continue to be preparing yourself for whatever that next step is. So I really love that. And I think that careers are so diversified now. To figure out what actually matters to you. Like there's a lot of people in marketing that may go like a project-based route as opposed to like a 9 to 5, which has benefits, but there's also like you just talked about how your teammates are now going back, getting their credentials, getting things. You are helping guide that process. If you're a project-based worker, that doesn't exist. There's no one like holding your hand to the next level. So that's the stuff that I like to tell people because they're like, oh, I have all this freedom and flexibility. But it's like, yeah, but then you're self-reliant.
Absolutely.
Yourself forward. So that stuff really speaks to me too. And in part because it just helps me. But one of the pieces of your story that I really love is that you did kind of rise through the ranks at Fleet Advantage over the past 10 years. Like you started as a marketing manager there, and then you were named Chief Marketing Officer in December of 2022. And that evolution at one company is just not something you see all the time anymore. And so what was that like? Why did you kind of stay at Fleet Advantage and move up?
I mean, first of all, the journey has been, a tremendous learning experience and really allowed me to grow, obviously, both personally and professionally. It's really just been exciting to see my ideas come to fruition and, help the success of the company and to get that validation. So, it's like when you pitch a project, or especially coming in as a younger person into the company, and, it takes a little bit to get your kind of bearings and to understand what the company really does. And, then you kind of apply your knowledge of marketing and or sales. I think it's kind of similar, the concepts that, and then, well, how do I make this Fleet Advantage now? So, when a couple of those first projects, were a success, it's like, oh my God, like I actually, okay, I said this was going to happen and this was the thing, and then it happened. So that's, and when you're younger, obviously that's what you're looking for. And I mean, I'm still looking for that because I'm kind of always just trying to come up with different things. But the reason I stayed at Fleet Advantage because it's honestly, it's like a family. So the culture is definitely a big part of it, but it's always so exciting. Like we always have so many new topics and so many new challenges. I mean, now we have car pre-buy, and then last year we had no trucks, and now we have too many. So it's like, how are you going to be relevant and help your customers, right? To kind of navigate these things. So to me, I mean, our industry is just growing, all the data analytics and all these different concepts. Obviously, we have EVs, we have autonomous driving. So I just find it really interesting, and I just try to make it relevant to those, kind of what's going on in the industry. And we just have a really good company, and we do a lot of fun things, and I'll go into that a little bit later too. But and it's just been really rewarding. And I'm also in a senior management group, which kind of came with that CMO promotion. So now being more involved with actual business, that's was a big growing part for me to be able to guide our CEO on different topics, not just marketing and sales, operations and those types of things. That's really rewarding for me as well. So
I think a big piece of it too is helping your employees to see what that next stage can be, and like coaching them and guiding them. I think a lot of times people leap over to other companies because they don't see that trajectory in front of them. They don't see those opportunities for growth at a company. And I think that's a huge opportunity that companies are missing, because they're like, oh, this employee left. Well, you didn't tell them how they could stay. And that is really important. So I'm curious if you have any advice for other companies that are looking to retain employees and promote within.
Yeah, I think companies should definitely provide, a clear pathway for growth and development. And, how are the employees, how do we envision their future? Especially if the company is very top heavy. So, for me personally, although I went through the ranks and I wasn't just marketing manager to CMO, there wasn't really anybody above me. So I was kind of creating that pathway to myself. So, but I can see how it could be a little more difficult with big companies and those types of things. I think it's very crucial to provide it, especially, when, I mean, if you're, the next in line to the CMO, I mean, is there another way? Is there another, maybe not a department, but maybe a segment that you can absorb to fulfill your career? And maybe it's not a title thing. So those types of things I think are really important. I do this annually with my team. We go through the performance, we review the goals. I'm very clear and transparent, okay, you want this promotion? Well, these are the things that need to happen. And on both sides, this is the training that you may need, and this is the education that you may have to have additionally, or accreditation, those types of things. So I think on that point, encourage a culture of transparency. So it's okay to talk about it. It's not a negative thing. So we can talk about the career path. Just because an employee is asking about their career path doesn't mean that they want to go somewhere. To your point, they want just to make sure that they are, set in the company. But I will say, I think it's just as important for the employee to kind of find those things as well, and maybe be creative in their own right. Maybe help a little bit of that pathway pushing, right? And then obviously company culture, I think that's super important. Marketing at Fleet Advantage has a lot to do with that. We do a lot of fun things for the employees. We have a lot of employees that are remote, which I think is pretty standard now. So keeping those employees engaged. We send out video newsletters. We do contests. We do all types of events. This past month, we celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, and we brought in a mariachi band to the office. So kind of just those little things, it's okay to sprinkle some fun into it. But I think, providing that path, helping to fulfill it. If you tell your employee that they need more training, well, help provide that training, help provide some suggestions of what they can do, and just have that open dialogue. So I would definitely recommend that.
That makes a lot of sense. Being both on both sides, it takes both the team member and the company to provide that path and to do the work to get there. And clear objectives. I like that you said that too. Like we said, okay, well, if you want to go to the next level, this is what you need to achieve, because that's really important too. Like, no, you have to earn promotions too, and here's how you do that. And sometimes people don't know that, or what those steps are, or how close they were. So that open communication is really important.
Definitely. Agreed.
And Fleet Advantage celebrated an incredible milestone in their history, becoming a $1 billion brand. And your work goes beyond the traditional marketing metrics and activities, but also providing value-added services to transportation and logistics clients. Can you tell us how you achieve such success?
Oh, yeah, it's just amazing again. And like, it's not the billion in it. You asked me earlier, why State of Fleet Advantage, it's just, we're continuing to just kind of, kick butt, which is exciting. And, we're very, very client centric. So that's pretty much how we do business. It's very client driven, client centric. Even before the company becomes the client, my job, but I want them to feel like they're already a client. So it's very unique. It's very custom. And, once they do become a client, we do a lot of ad hoc things. So we also submit the clients for different awards. We like to do things for their employees. So if a company receives, new trucks, we'll do a photo shoot. The company gets to keep those photos. They've used them for their retention purposes, for showing off the new trucks to the drivers and why the drivers should come to their company. And then we'll do a barbecue for the drivers at a DC or something like that. Personally, I know most of our clients. I know about their families. I know where they go for vacations. And we are a smaller number company, so we're under 50 employees. And even though we have that $1 billion, brand, that's how we like to keep it, very boutique, intimate. We know all of our clients. If they need something for their own company meeting, I'll work on a PowerPoint. You need help in marketing for your company? I'll do it. It's no problem. So anything that we can do is, just to keep that custom, boutique feel, and to make sure that our customers know we have their backs, and anything they need we'll do.
Mm-hmm. And you also played a pivotal role in the acquisition of new high-profile clients, contributing to more than $490 million in opportunities in lease origination alone, which is such a feat. I know you talked about how you help customers a little bit, but how do you create strategic campaigns and customer programs to hit these marks?
So it's really interesting because at Fleet Advantage, we don't have thousands of prospects that we go after. We have our own profile scoring. So there's really an X amount of accounts that we would want to work with and that would want to work with us, that it would make sense, right? So we work really hard to understand these companies from the beginning. We're researching these companies. We're looking at, obviously their fleet related things, their transportation related things, but what kind of values does the company believe in? How do we fit there? Working primarily with private fleets, meaning that transportation is not their main source of business. The people that we have to work with in that organization is never the same. It's never the same. So it can be a VP of transportation one day. It can be a procurement manager one day. It can be the CFO. It can be the treasury. So we really have to make sure that we understand that map for each account, and really, again, try to understand their pain points and try to come up with solutions that help these pain points. So that's probably, not anything groundbreaking here, but I think it's the time and effort that we put in to create those campaigns that come after that are able to capture their attention, because we really did our research in the beginning. So we do that in the beginning, and then we really work, very closely with our sales team. I talk to them every day, making sure that my vision and my ideas actually align with what they're seeing out on the road and when they're talking to their clients and prospects, right? So we align on that. And, I like to think of it, and there's so many, analogies we can say, but, we're kind of like the volleyball player setting them up and the sales is spiking you down. And that's, I want to help my team get that first meeting. I want to help my team get to the fleet study, which is the next thing that we do. And ultimately, obviously, make them our client. So, peanut butter jelly, Aperol and spritz, we can go on. But so really kind of working very closely with the sales team to make those things happen. So
I think that's key. No one wants to do work without a purpose. And so if you're sending out the marketing stuff without aligning it with sales, without them actually being able to use it, it's such a missed opportunity. Or if like they're trying to, hit one type of client, well, that your marketing should match that messaging that they're trying to hit, and making sure that's really seamless is really important. So great advice. Outside of just your marketing role, you're also really dedicated to the charitable work, and you serve as the director of Kids Around the Corner, which is Fleet Advantage's dedicated charity for children, which is awesome. I don't know how you have time in your schedule to lead that as well, but can you tell us about the program and why it's important to you?
Sure. So Kids Around the Corner is our Fleet Advantage Foundation, and it's dedicated to supporting children and family in need. And, our efforts include a lot of partnerships with different organizations, not just monetary, but volunteering, those types of things. But we really focus on organizations that don't have really any national recognition. So very small organizations. We have our Kids Around the Corner committee and Fleet Advantage, who we encourage to submit, these types of organizations, because if they're in their neighborhood or if they're locally, even our clients, we ask them as well. So while the other organizations are very good, a lot of times the smaller organizations don't receive that recognition. So it's harder for them to get funds. Mm-hmm. So we really focus again on smaller organizations, with children and families in needs. And, I have personal experience with special needs, so it's very important to me personally. And I understand, the importance of kind of giving back. And really, the Kids Around the Corner Foundation was established by our founder, John Flynn, and his wife, Fran Flynn. And they've always been very, very generous and very caring to these charities. So I think that's just stuck with the company. That's part of our culture. And it's really important to the whole team. So, we've done a lot of cool things. We've we donated a tractor trailer to a small company that does horse therapy for kids. We also started the kids essay contest for a truck driving championship. These kids get to write about why their truck driver parent is a hero to them. So yeah. Just try to kind of be a little bit innovative, and it's not always about the monetary things. It's about volunteering, and we have a great group, part of that Kids Around the Corner whole committee. So it's a charity. It's not work. I really do enjoy that. So.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. It takes us to our last question, which is one of my favorites to ask everyone who comes on the show. If you could go back in time and advise a younger Katerina anything, personally or professionally, when would you go back to, and what would you tell her?
It's such a tough question because, you probably feel like in a moment when you make a mistake or something like that, like, oh, I wish I could go back, right? But I guess in a general sense, I wouldn't change anything, because, the hardships and even, and the wins obviously kind of shape, where you are today. But if I had to tell myself one thing, it'd probably be like patience. Patience is a virtue. And, just look at some of the hardships and look at some of the roadblocks, as an opportunity for growth, which, eventually you do realize that that's what they are. So, I guess I would not go back and change anything. I would just work on that patience and, look at things more as an opportunity.
I think patience is always important. It's not something I do well with either. So I appreciate the sentiment. But thank you so much for coming on the show today. And again, congratulations on being the 2024 Marketing Mountain Mover. If you missed last week's interview, it was with our sales mountain mover, Kimberly Cockrell-Corley. So check that out. Upcoming next for TMSA. If you ever want to know, you can take a look in the corner. Actually, I'm going to pull up a different QR code for you that's easier to see. There you go. Webinars upcoming on the moves, in-person events. If you're interested in what's coming up next, our next webinar is on October 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Strategic Sales Leadership Strategies for Driving Growth and High Performance Teams. If you missed the live, all of our webinars are actually inside the member portal for our members. So you get those as a perk of being a member. But thank you so much for being on the show, and congratulations, and excited to see what comes next for you.
Thank you